I met Jim once, who told me that nothingness is the essence of life. And nothingness is in each of us, deep down, he said. Well, I took him for a fanatic. I thought he belonged to a cult or something like that. You know, you hear things like that sometimes. You don't understand anything at first. You don't know exactly what they wanted to say, so you forget about it. But him, there was something persistent in his eyes. I had the idea that he knew everything, naked in front of a stranger. He said, "Give me your hands." Well, at the time, I thought he was hitting on me. I was quite skeptical, and I refused at first. But then he said that hands are often the first part of the body you touch, and you can usually read someone's thoughts just by touching their hand. And if you let someone touch your hand, you permit a certain closeness, to share your thoughts, to let them know if you're cold, ill, tense, confident, if you want to be with them or not. I mean, at the time I thought this was completely crazy, but now I think I understand better what he means. Allowing someone to take your hand is allowing them to be with you. And if you can accept being like this, if it makes you feel good, you can stay like this hand in hand for an entire lifetime. I mean, what's more important than feeling good for an entire lifetime? Some people chase money and careers, love affairs, but could they just sit and hold somebody's hand? Wow, for the longest time, I thought he told me something totally stupid, but now that I'm with you, I understand what he means. Talk. I'm just afraid of silence. Give me your hand.
I work in a language training center. I'm the receptionist. One day, a guy came here, Jim. Well, I should really say God. Yeah, God. Sorry, I have no other words to describe how I felt that day. I just wanted to get down on my knees or to collapse right then and there. So he'd have no choice but to come and rescue me. Took a deep breath and said to myself, calm down. God is just a man. God is just a man. Didn't work at all. I asked him to give me a minute, ran away to the bathroom, and splashed some fresh water on my face and came back. He was still there. He mesmerized me. I don't know how he did it. I thought he had a superpower. Yeah, I believed that. Went back to my seat and took another breath, and I asked, could I do anything for you? Trying to be natural and professional, and he smiled, tortured me with a great bright smile on his face and his eyes. I could see he was reading me like a book. He told me he wanted to learn Spanish, French, Russian, German, and Japanese over the next 6 months. No kidding. I thought, okay, this guy is either a show-off or a genius. Great. I'll see him again and often. And over the next 6 months, he came every day. Every day he was there at the same time, right there in front of me, and every day he made my heart flutter. Couldn't help it. It lasted 6 months. Not a day over that. He learned Spanish, French, Russian, German, and Japanese. He was a genius. or God. I still don't know.
I bought the latest, most fashionable computer. It's beautiful, it's sleek, it's tactile, it's powerful. I'm sure it could do the dishes if I kindly asked it to. As far as I'm concerned, I can do the dishes, but I don't understand anything about computers, so I call the hotline. Everybody always criticizes hotline services, but in my case, there was nothing to complain about. There was almost no wait. And then there was Jim. A super nice man with a warm, sensual voice. You know, the kind of man you fall in love with right away? At the first word he says. Incidentally, I fell in love with him. I listened to him. I drank in every word he said, even though I didn't really understand a word he was telling me. I asked him completely stupid questions to get him to carry on speaking, and then a little voice said to me, "Stop now. Are you going crazy?" And I was. I was going crazy. Up until the moment I invited him to come to my place to give me a hand. Physically, I mean. It just came out. I didn't even know it was possible, but it just came out. He hesitated for a while. He said he wasn't allowed to. He was too far away from me. It would cost too much, and so on and so forth. And then, I don't know what was up with me. I offered to pay for his cab. I guess being single is making me do crazy things. But you know what? He came. I didn't think he would. It would be unbelievable even in a film. Nevertheless, he came. And damn, I wish you could have seen him. What a fucking stud. The mere thought of him makes me shiver. He stayed the weekend. I still don't understand anything about computers. He's got to come back.
I need to go around the world with nothing but my backpack just to wander around aimlessly and explore far regions like South America and the Amazon, Peru and Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, you know, places like that, just to see everything I can for 1 or 2 years. I mean, wouldn't you like to? You know, meet people who've never seen a cell phone their whole life, or never heard of a washing machine or taken a subway. People from all over see the world in another way. I mean, they live with nature, they live close to the earth, they comprehend the true meanings of life. I mean, they have other problems than we do, but they have such a different day-to-day life. It's more wholesome, yet at the same time, more primitive. I'm sure they're happy, enjoy life much more than we do. And they have no idea of what we have to bear here. Believe me, they're not unfortunate. I mean, there's no case of suicide, there's no antidepressants, no allergies, anything like that. I mean, they're not miserable. Not compared to us in any case. And they're far from our problems of stress and juvenile delinquency and suburban gangs settling scores, robber barons, plans of restructurization, comfort which oppresses us. Far from the generation of plasma screens and cell phones without service. I mean, they're neither concerned by the change in political powers than they are with the change in oil prices. And I think they're the happiest people in the world. I just need to experience that in my life for 1 or 2 years so I can forget about Jim. And then when I watch TV programs, I'm sure I'll see them very differently.
I've always been fond of money, to make it multiply, to invest, to loan. It always gives me a thrill. Even when I was young, in the schoolyard, I loaned my pocket money to my friends at high interest. It was usually for a week, $5 max, except for friends who had rich parents. They always pay me back. At that age, rich youngsters still have a sense of moral. It is later that it goes away. Anyway, I was loaning money to my friends in the schoolyard. For every $5 loaned, I got back 6 the week after. Interest rate, 20%. At the end of elementary school, I had to improve my method. I asked my mother to lend me some money, which she did free of charge, and that allowed me to increase my profit. To loan somebody else's is the best way to earn more myself. I made a fortune myself as a teenager. I borrowed money from friends of mine at 5% of the amount I could get back. You see what I mean? As for those who couldn't pay me back, I had them carry my school bag, do my homework, give me the dessert at the cafeteria, etc. It was good business. But everything began to change as the principal's son, Jim, refused to give me back the $25 he borrowed. He was able to extort me because he was the principal's son. He said he would tell his father about my little business. I accused him of corruption, but he didn't scare. I had to accept. It was my first crush. And at that moment I understood that it's better to loan $1 to 1,000 poor people than $1,000 to one rich person. A rule that I've always strictly followed since then.